Have you guys seen this video that Alex Jones put out? It's got 15 million views. I'm assuming many of you did. I'm going to play it. There's no real sound behind it, but this is after the debate. As it's concluding, this is important.
No,
Trump
I
casually walking away from the podium, making his way towards the curtain to go backstage. It's rather uneventful. The camera then pans over back to Biden. And I don't know if there was a frame jump or whatever that was, but here's Jill and Joe. Jill's holding his hand as Biden can't bend his legs to take a single step down.
Oh my goodness.
In order to move down, he can't move his hips. Look, you see his hands are...
Looks like Mr. Burns.
No. Yes. But notice his hands are like this. His hands are cornholio and he's making these weird bent finger... Dude is gone.
So I was down in Austin with Alex on Friday, and I hosted the show with him down there, and trying to take it off air completely. And he played this video about 97 times during the show. He's like, "Jack, play the video again, guys, play the video." And it was every single going to break and coming back from like the video. And so I've been seeing it in my nightmares. And what's crazy though, that it reminds me of the Hillary Clinton falling out video from 9/11 in 2016 that Zdenek Garza gets. And it's not so much the video itself. That's layer one. Layer two, what's the end of that video? Jake Tapper and Dana Bash
shaking his hand
are just shaking his hand as if nothing just happened. They don't seem to react in any way. They're not surprised. They're not shocked, because deep down, every single one of them know it. They know that he's been like this. And you can see the Financial Times reporting from the actual G7 of a lot of the world leaders saying that Joe Biden didn't seem like he was there, that he wasn't able to focus. He didn't even show up for like the gala dinner because the time change shifted on him, or the times when he fell asleep when he was in these meetings with Netanyahu, et cetera, et cetera.
Or in Maui.
Or when he's in Maui, he's half asleep. And so they all know that Joe is like this, and it didn't faze them at all. And neither did his performance issues during the debate faze Jake Tapper or Dana Bash even a little bit, because they all knew that's exactly what he's
What is this bias? The video clip actually ends with Joe Biden squatting on D-Day. And my position on this is there's a decent probability that Joe Biden suffers from fecal incontinence. This is not meant to be crass. This is an elderly man. The rate is, I think, 25 to 30% of men over the age of 80 suffer from this. That's why they sell diapers.
Yeah.
So when this scenario happens, we all watch it, and he's doing this weird squatting thing like he's having an issue. And we say, there's a possibility he just kind of
showed that to my kids. I showed that to my kids, and they keep asking for it.
But
and they know exactly what it is.
Here's the issue. The media's been lying for so long. Cheap fake. Oh, these videos aren't real. Oh, they're lying, manipulating you. I hope now regular people, having watched that debate, can understand why we as reasonable people entertained the probability that Joe Biden made a boom boom on stage during D-Day, at the ceremony. Not that we know he did, but that the probability exists, and we are concerned about that.
Well, there was, even during the 2020 election, there was a moment when Lady Gaga was campaigning with Joe Biden, and she was wearing like 1,000,000-inch heels, really tall. And she was walking around with him, and he was having trouble walking. And she was like, "Oh, no, you got it. It's okay. You got it." And he was stumbling along as she's gracefully gliding along. In like her
skyscraper heels. I mean, this is the same thing when he...
And I remember seeing that, and I was like, that's kind of disturbing. Like, she looks like she's leading her elderly grandpa along at the home.
But this is what we would expect.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we would expect in a situation where every institution in the country, except for one, by the way, there's one institution that does actually have a little bit of fairness left. And we've all talked about it a number of times right now. What is it, Libby?
Which was that?
The one institution that is not completely controlled by the left right now.
Well, it's the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court, exactly.
That's the only one, yeah.
And that is why they've targeted the Supreme Court so much. And so you will hear them claim that they are oppressed. You will hear them claim that they are the underdog, that they are the downtrodden masses of the world, when in fact they are the ones trying to import millions and millions of masses from around the world. They are the ones in control of all these organizations.
300,000 Haitians just got an extension of their temporary amnesty.
Did anybody catch this?
Libertarians
this is when Biden gave his speech at 7:45, he accidentally read the teleprompter again. I don't know if any of us caught that. So let's
Sotomayor's dissent today.
Try it again.
I concur with Justice Sotomayor's dissent today. Here's what she said. She said, in every use of official power, The president is now a king above the law. With fear for our democracy, I dissent. End of quote.
I remember.
I think that's. I think
I
that's.
think that's
where he read like
wait,
pause. Remember that?
Wait, listen to the way. Can you play that again though? Because there's another part that I caught. The way he says the word official acts. Listen.
Here's what she said. She said,
you caught it too.
every use of official power
A visual power.
king above the law.
Visual power.
With fear for our democracy, I dissent. End of quote.
So they're trying to. This is what they did with Livy. You know, this is what they always used to do with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the notorious RBG. So she became famous for her dissenting opinions, these blistering opinions. I dissent, and then eventually, they take control of the court and they're able to get all these things passed. But they're trying to turn Sotomayor into the new Ruth Bader G. And the problem is, of course, is that as amoral and horrific, I think a lot of her decisions were, that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was like several standard deviations more horsepower between the ears than Sotomayor. Which, by the way, another piece of that is that Sotomayor is not, she's near the older end of the court. And there is a real chance that the next president, whoever that may be, could make their replacement. Also, by the way, Clarence Thomas is currently the oldest member of the court, but
He's also the best.
I'm telling you, like, the Republic is currently predicated on Clarence Thomas's health care. Whatever we need to give that guy, I want to make sure his RV I'm talking armor
better be
plating, stacked missile launchers.
Healthcare. Did Biden get a tan? Is he like trying to look more like
Well, he's
Trump?
been hanging out at Camp David,
Right, but I mean, I thought he had
He's
a
been
cold.
wandering. Maybe he fell asleep outside.
Right? Maybe it's that. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. Like, that's what I was talking about before. The Supreme Court is going to be the new rallying point for at least the next couple of weeks. It might shift again, but I think this will be the new thing that they try to get progressive voters to the polls. We know you don't like Biden. We know he did terribly. We know you're upset with his foreign policy. But the fate of the Supreme Court lies in the hands of the next United States president. It cannot be Donald Trump. Because of the fear of losing any kind of liberal presence on the court or any kind of progressive moves, especially with any pending abortion cases. And I think that is one of the reasons that this desperation to keep Joe Biden a somewhat sympathetic character is going to remain present for a long time. I mean,
isn't that what Hearst said about him, his sympathetic old man?
Right. When he,
do you think we're going to get that audio?
The thing is, I don't think we'll get it. But I also think that, like, all of the months of conservatives being like, do you remember when he tripped up the stairs? That was rough. Do you remember when he collapsed or tripped and fell down at Air Force graduation? It went from being like conservatives so mean and disrespectful to being like, oh, wait, maybe they were right about something. Maybe
He's our Boris Yeltsin. He is our Boris Yeltsin. So Boris Yeltsin was sort of the post-Soviet Clinton appointed, basically Clinton packed president of Russia, who wasn't really a president at all. And he gets in there and, people see his antics on television, public drunkenness, and he allowed Western powers and the first oligarch class in Russia to just completely run roughshod, signing over, peace. It was almost as bad as the early days of the Bolshevik regime in some senses, because they would take something like the vast oil and gas resources of Siberia and sign it over to a guy for like $1 million, like completely insane, for the cost of a Tim Pool skate park. And you've got all of Siberian oil and gas.
I don't know if people know what the cost of a Tim Pool skate park is.
Well, I think it's about $1 million, right?
About $1 million.
Yeah, it's about $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when this insanity and the Russian life expectancy started going down, public drunkenness was through the roof. All of that sowed the conditions that led to the rise of Putin, who came in and said, no, we're not going to be doing this anymore. And people know that he did not decide to turn down the route of, freedom and democracy and institute a constitution. No, it was going to be this direct top-down power model, probably more likened to the Romanovs and the dynasty before him, that and the oligarchs were all given the choice. They were given the choice of, are you going to agree with the new power structure, or will you be thrown in jail? And if you didn't go along with it, you were thrown in jail. And this is so I guess I point this out to say that after a leader like this, a system can be ripe for massive political change. And I think that's what the left is, in a sense, because they are so, and Joshua, I used this line earlier on my show when we were pre-taping. You said, we talk about follow the money, and you say the left follows the power. Mm-hmm. They are so attuned to power. They sense a power shift is in the wind. And Joshua, I wonder if you could talk about that a little bit, because they have this natural attunement to power, whereas the right would rather be addicted to rules. As someone in the chat was just saying, the right is totally addicted to rules, but doesn't seem to be able to understand which way the winds of power are blowing.
Yes, if you game theory it, one side will win no matter what. That our dedication is to win regardless, no matter what it takes. And the other side says, I just want to be left alone.
That's
And
us.
that's the
We
left.
just want to be left alone.
And that's the right, and that's everyone. Well, who's going to be the winner takes all? Every single time. And so it's an asymmetric interest, drive, urge for power over others. And I would posit that we can consult hypnosis for one of the explanations for this. When people project outwards their desires, what they want to see, what they want more of, it's usually due to a massive hole in the soul, so to speak, of what it is that they don't have. So when someone has a drive for power, it is usually because they have no power over their own lives, their own social circle, their own family.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.